My name is Meckstroth, and this is my partner, Graeme Daley. We are both urban planners. And we were also looking at the Newtown site, but we were looking at it from a more comprehensive approach. So we actually looked at design solutions for the entire intersection of Madison and Red Bank. And we did that because when we were looking at our existing conditions, looking at the Newtown site, trying to understand the strengths and weaknesses of the site, we realized that there's actually a lot of strengths and weaknesses, not just on the site, but on the entire intersection. So we applied that way of thinking into our analysis. And when we were conducting our analysis, we noticed one main problem of the Red Bank corridor area, and that is that the Red Bank and Madison intersection is at the center of numerous voids. First is the land use void. To the west is Oakley, and to the east is Madisonville. Both of these communities are traditional. They have neighborhood business districts surrounded, for the most part, by housing. But in between the two is the Red Bank corridor with disparate uses that don't necessarily mesh well. There's no cohesion, and they certainly don't blend well with the communities to the east and west. The grid void that we noticed, again, Oakley and Madisonville both have this traditional gridded streets that you typically see in American cities. And in between it is no such grid. There's really poor connectivity, and so you might see problems with traffic there. And our third void is the character void. Again, Oakley and Madisonville, both of these traditional neighborhood centers that are focused on the pedestrian. But the Red Bank corridor focuses on the automobile. It doesn't favor pedestrian activity, and so there's a lot of traffic congestion there, and it just really doesn't mend well with the surrounding character. So that analysis led us to our problem statement, which essentially is that these voids are anti-pedestrian, they're pro-car, and they lack cohesion. And so as a result, we think that this site is not being taken advantage of because of its location, and that is that it sits between Hyde Park and Indian Hill, probably Cincinnati's two largest buying power centers. So our problem mediation essentially revolves around the idea of filling these voids. Filling these voids with a mixed-use town center type development that is pedestrian friendly. And now, as it stands today, the Red Bank Expressway is auto-oriented, and so there's going to be, as it stands today, there's just no way that that could be pedestrian friendly. So one of our big ideas that revolves around creating this pedestrian realm is to actually create a tunnel for the future Red Bank Expressway that will be widened further in the future. We can do that if you're familiar with the site. It actually, the intersection of Red Bank and Madison actually is in a valley, and so it comes down on Madison. So essentially what we're just saying is you raise the land around the current intersection to allow Madison to be completely flat on the top, and underneath that you can have the tunnel that Red Bank Expressway would travel through. And the highway would just stay as it is today. And so with that land raised on the east and the west of the intersection, you might actually be able to have some room to create subsurface parking that would be necessary for the new development that would take place here. So you can see in the conceptual plan that we're actually reconnecting Old Red Bank Road together and creating a new intersection with Madison on top of the tunnel. And this intersection would be the center of our pedestrian realm. So you can see there that this would be our pedestrian realm center, and then back here to the south of this intersection would be where the MedPace facilities would be. And then interweaving throughout the entire site is this parkway type open space that essentially separates the MedPace facility from the open space area, giving MedPace this corporate campus-like feel that they said that they desire. But this open space actually also ties all the uses together, providing this open space where the community can come together. So it's essentially a barrier, but it also bonds. So it's the best of both worlds, I guess you could say. And so the elements of our plan are, again, pedestrian-oriented, pedestrian pathways interweave throughout the entire site to allow ease of access for the pedestrians first and foremost. Again, the greenways interweave throughout our site. And then we have urban forms and an urban street grid that really, we think, will help bridge this gap and fill the void. And so, moving on to our mediation inspiration, it's a sense of place. We're trying to create something that is unique. And place is hard to define, but what we do know is that it's unique and it's special and it's distinctive. So in order for this to become a place, it has to be mixed use and vibrant, it has to be unique, it has to be something in Cincinnati that you don't find anywhere else. It has to have distinctive architecture, and it should be urban, intimate, and human scale. And we think the biggest part of our plan that's going to go about achieving this goal is the tunnel that we're going to create for the Route 8 Expressway, creating that pedestrian road above that tunnel. So with that, Graeme, we'll get into the specifics on our design and our plan.
All right, so this is the plan we came up with here. Again, the